that here at last, man had a weapon that could destroy civilization. The atomic bomb is the most powerful physical destructive weapon history has ever known.
This psychological defense mechanism is called denial. In the case of trying to cope with realities like death, it is actually a very healthy skill of the human psyche. In the case of nuclear weapons, however, denial creates an absurd double life in which we are frightened by the real possibility of a nuclear holocaust, but choose to continue on with our daily routines, business as usual, as though no such threat existed. We have been told so many times that mankind has devised the means of its own annihilation that this shocking fact no longer shocks us. How many times can we see a mushroom cloud before it doesn't mean anything to us anymore? How should a person feel after hearing that the planet's nuclear arsenal surpasses the destructive power of over 1 million Hiroshimas, equal to about 4 tons of TNT for every man, woman, and child in the world?
しかし一瞬にしてですね、1平方メートルあたりだいたい平均35トンの重圧がかかっておりますから、中にいた子供たちは一瞬にして即死したと思います。まあ、1時間ぐらいのうちに1人で。
An atom bomb destroys or injures in 3 ways: by blast, heat, and radioactivity. The blast of an atom bomb is its most important destructive agent. In Japan, whole buildings were flattened by its force. The atom bomb destroys by heat. People caught in the open as far as 2 miles away suffered flash burns. The third weapon of the bomb is radioactivity, thrown off at the instant of explosion. These, then, are the weapons of the atom bomb that we must protect against: blast, heat, and radioactivity.
It's a bomb. Duck and cover. 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 Duck and cover yourself. Duck and cover. Duck and cover. Duck and cover.
I do know that the world can be blown up 7 times with all the bombs on the face of this earth. When I first heard that, I was shocked. I mean, I really was. And my mother told me, when there's going to be a nuclear war, there isn't going to be a war. It's going to be mass annihilation.
Remember what to do, friends. Now tell me right out loud. What are you supposed to do when you see the flash?
I told my 2 boys to come go out with me, 20 and 23. He said, "What for, Ma?" I said, "When that bomb hugs the earth for 30 minutes, it won't be no more. It won't be no more left for anybody."
People have been moved, and they're beginning to realize that the terror is not just of the Russians. The terror is of the fact that these nuclear things exist and that they are threatening our lives, and we must put some trust in attempting to stop the arms race, rather than trusting every single morning and when we get up that we're going to make it through that day.
We're all here today because, of course, nobody wants to die in a nuclear war, and any war that they start would kill everybody in the world. But we're disabled people here especially, because we're mad as heck that every time Reagan builds a bomb, he takes it out of our social services. We are now people who are going without medical care, without housing, without jobs, especially without transportation and independent living services.
We don't need MX missiles. We don't need rejuvenated B-1 bombers. We don't need old battleships with new paint. What we need are food and jobs for our people.
Well, there were different reactions, but all people want peace. And people realize that it's time, that we no longer can depend on governments, but that we have to stand up and cry out and voice out, and that nuclear weapons have to be banned and finished in order to save the world.
This is a statue dedicated to a girl who died of A-bomb disease, and she was hospitalized for a few months. And there is an old Japanese story that says if somebody who is very sick continues to fold 1,000 grains, then that person can recover from that disease. So that girl also believed that story or that story, so she decided to fold 1,000 grains while she was in hospital. But before she finished folding 1,000 grains, she passed away. So having heard that story, many Japanese children and people started to fold 1,000 grains for her, although she was already dead, to comfort her soul. And ever since then, many school children fold those grains to that girl and dedicate those grains over there to that statue.
Einstein said, ever since the atom was split, the smallest element in nature at the time, the whole world has changed irrevocably. Nothing will ever be the same. It's changed except one thing, the way we think. We've got to think in new terms, over and beyond the nature of stupidities of war itself, the insanity of it, a war. I needn't go into Bosnia right now. It's another story entirely. But the whole subject that Einstein's talking about is what this is all about. 5 years away from a new millennium, we've got to think in wholly new ways entirely. And the commonality that is in the human species, the global village that it is, at the same time preserving our differences. And it's that we can wipe the floor with these frauds, provided there is this concerted effort to think in new terms, deeply and profoundly and fully and humanly. And thank you very much.